Welcome, welcome to United Way's Community Talk. I am the Executive Director of the Missouri Slope Area-Wide United Way. Thanks for tuning into this wonderful conversation. Co-hosting with me today is Ms. Amber Jensen, the Operations Manager at United Way.
Good morning, everyone.
It's great to be back to work. I took off some time after our day of caring because my wonderful, beautiful... kind-hearted, compassionate, and fun parents were visiting from out of state. I'm from a small town in western New York, and so they were here the last 2 weeks, and we just had such a great time. They were part of our Day of Caring. They enjoyed the kickoff. They've been to it before, and they really want to volunteer. It's so exciting.
Well, then you can come back and visit more often then, right?
Well, I'd like them to move in, and I mean that sincerely. I would love for them to live with me. My house would smell so good.
All that fresh baked goods.
Yeah.
Mom
Oh,
makes.
gosh, my mom's such a great cook. But it really was just an enjoyable time, and it really, we talked about it at our staff meeting this morning, how important family is, how that has to be the number one thing in many people's lives. And so I'm just very appreciative of them, and they're tuning in all the way back home in New York.
Hello, Gallows.
So it's a fun time of year. My parents and I were just talking about how in the world they did it with 6 kids, getting ready for back to school time and shopping and school supplies. And I know, we had a big school supply drive for our United Way Day of Caring.
Yeah, we were able to put together 50 backpacks for those kids in need, and those were delivered to the schools last week. And it's just... and then YouthWorks had a clothing drive for those kids that might not otherwise be able to go out and buy brand new clothes to have that first day excitement back to school.
Well, people should really check out our Facebook page. It's Facebook.com/MSAUway. And just to see the generosity of the community and the amount of clothes that were donated, sorted, and delivered. And so kids got to go to BHS and go back to school shopping there.
Yeah, I was amazed. We had 3 little kids that were just in charge of donating or sorting the shoes. And this is the amount of shoes and how much fun they had. Just some small little token that those kids got to do. And they were probably 10 and just had a ball being able to sort all of those items for the kids.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And then we had a big project at Liberty Elementary School. The First Lady, Betsy Dalrymple, was there helping along with, maybe 30, 40, 50 other...
50 realtors and affiliates.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. What were they doing there, Amber? They were working hard away, and they weren't talking. It was silent there. They were hard at work. Just saw the whole hallway lined up.
What they were doing there is getting their book room and their library ready. And so they did a lot of cataloging. They went through all the books, putting all the stickers on there. I'm no librarian, but it looked like a lot of hard work.
It's a lot of work. I don't know how the schools with the teachers and the aides and the librarians, how they get everything done in the short amount of time that they have. But we're going to hear more about that because we have 2 fantastic guests today. We have representing the Bismarck Public Schools, the superintendent, Tamara Uzelman. Tamara, do I say your last name right?
Uzelman's perfect. Thank
Uzelman, I like it. And then we have the assistant superintendent of Mandan Public Schools, Mr. Jeffrey Lind.
Hi, Jenna.
Hi, Jeff. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, well, I have to say a special thank you to both of you because you not only have done incredible work within each of your school systems, but you're also board members at United Way, and that means a lot to our community because it really strengthens the partnership that we have. So appreciate your leadership and your support.
Yeah, I appreciate the chance to be on the board. I think both Jeff and I do. When you talk about our communities, connected by the river, not separated, but connected by the river, when this community knows that children have needs, when they have a need for school space, like they did in Mandan and Bismarck, when they have a need for school supplies, when they have a need for food, when this community knows kids are in need, they respond phenomenally well. So it's kind of our honor to be able to be on the board and to help get kids what they need.
Well, thanks. And you are probably seeing greater needs than ever with the growth in our community. And so talk to us a little bit about what you've been doing to get ready for this upcoming school year.
Well, in Mandan, today is an exciting day for our teachers. We have 300 teachers today doing a Technology Day, kind of improving their skills. We have Apple Distinguished Educators in,
Ooh.
And we're really making a push to upgrade our integration of technology and get more real-world 21st century skills in the hands of our teachers so that they can work with our students better. From a standpoint of capacities and enrollments and things like that, we're certainly seeing the continuing trend of growing enrollments, and the numbers right now look like we'll be up substantially, probably around that 3,600 student mark, which
Wow.
demographers were projecting that we would be up approximately 170 students. The real numbers probably won't be finalized for a week or so because we still have families that are registering even as we speak. The last couple of days have been busy days in our registrar's office at the Brave Center. And so we have families coming. And we also know that there are some families who will be transferring out of the district. So to get a final handle on where we're really at with student numbers probably won't be more toward the end of the week or early next week. But we know we're going to see increasing numbers.
Where do people go if they still haven't registered their kids? Because school starts on Thursday, right?
School in Mandan actually starts tomorrow.
Oh, it does start tomorrow.
So, yes,
Wow.
if you have not done so yet, please register. At this point in time, it would be real hard for us to register a student and get them placed in a school or create class schedules for them to be able to start tomorrow. We're trying to process those registrations as fast as we can, but it's getting down to crunch time. So yes, 901 Division Street Northwest, Brave Center is our registrar's office, and we're still seeing people come. So
Wow. And what are the numbers looking like in Bismarck Public Schools?
Well, last night when we opened Legacy High School, the report given to me is we have 300 more students this year than we
Wow.
had last year at this time. So the numbers are growing. And much like Mandan, we had our staff in yesterday. We had an exciting morning at Legacy High School. It's a gorgeous building that we spent a lot of time listening to the community, to the kids, and to the parents. We went out and talked with businesses about what a school facility should look like. So we kicked that off yesterday, despite the fact that a contractor down the street inadvertently cut our power.
Oh.
But I just do a shout out of thanks to our 2,000 employees. I'll repeat what Jeff said. When you bring teachers and support staff into your buildings and into the rooms, they just work it. And so much like a teacher does in a class, we worked through all the issues and kicked off our opening session with our people.
So you had your open house yesterday for Legacy. I'd wanted to attend, but I had a meeting at that time. So were there a lot of people that showed up for the open house?
We figured there are about 3,000.
Wow.
Many of them, of course, have a direct tie. There was parents of kids who are enrolled in Legacy, and a shout out of thanks to them as well. They've been on a walkabout for 2 years. While we got this building built, they were at the Career Academy in Hughes. So they finally got to be welcomed home into their own building. But we had a lot of people from the community who, I remember one man saying to me, I don't have a connection here other than I'm paying for the place, so I want to come look at what I'm buying. And he did, and he had wonderful questions. So it was great to see that many people come out.
It is a beautiful, beautiful school. And I bet the students are just so thrilled to be the first ones there. There isn't a senior class there. Is that true? That's what I've heard.
Yeah, there's not a senior class. So we started Legacy cohort with the 9th grade at the Career Academy. Last year we used the Career Academy and Hughes, as well as, Parks and Rec has helped us out in Bismarck State College. So we had 600 kids last year. This year, when we add 9, 10, 11 in the building, we'll have 900, and we won't have a graduating class out of Legacy until the year after this school year, where we'll have about 1,200 kids in a building built for 1,400, but it can expand if it has to.
How exciting. We're going to hear more from Jeff Lind and Tamara Uzelman representing Mandan and Bismarck Public Schools. Join us in just a couple minutes. Welcome back to United Way's Community Talk. I'm Jenna Gullo, your host today, and I also happen to work at the United Way, which is why we're doing this show. We have issues that we bring to you. We have lots of issues, let me tell you, by the way, but no, community issues that we bring to you, and we want you to get more involved. We want you to hear from the community leaders who are very active in addressing these issues, and also volunteer with us at United Way. You can go to volunteerbisman.com. or like us on Facebook, because oftentimes we'll post a need on there that you see and you feel immediately, almost immediately. We had a family that didn't have a washer and dryer, a single mom that was washing all of her clothes by hand, didn't have money to go to the laundromat, and you just donated that right away. We had a woman living in a trailer park that needed a shed built for her because she was going to face eviction. She had all of her belongings in a tent. Just really, really sad, because we know that we're here to help our neighbors. And this woman actually had a track phone. She only used it once a week to be able to keep her cell phone bill down to $8 a month. I mean, that's some serious budgeting that many of us wouldn't even think about as a need. And yet we have people that are really struggling to make ends meet. But we also have so many people thriving in our community and being a part of United Way to keep our community great. And part of that is due to the good work of our community leaders, like at our Bismarck and Mandan Public Schools. Joining us in studio today, we have the Assistant Superintendent at Mandan Public Schools and United Way Board member, Mr. Jeffrey Lind. And we also have Ms. Tamara Uzelman, the Bismarck Public Schools Superintendent and a United Way Board member, joining us. Thank you both for your work in the community and getting us all set for this upcoming school year.
We're off to a good start. It'll be a great year.
Great year. We were talking earlier about the technology stages, the technological plan at Mandan Public Schools, and how you're really getting not just the kids equipped to learn, but also the teachers.
I think having the teachers equipped to learn is as or more important than the kids. The kids are the term digital natives is sometimes thrown around a lot. They're living in a world where they haven't known a world without computers and iPads and Chromebooks and phones that have every possible application on them. So some of it is, from our perspective as educators, is more important that our teachers are given the tools that they can successfully know how to navigate those waters of integrating technology. We're trying not to make technology a standalone thing anymore. We don't do technology. Technology is just part of what we do.
Well, and that's part of the real world. Any job that they go to apply for, they're going to need to do it online probably. And any job that they're going to get, they're going to have some basic level.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Interesting. You said that you have iPads currently in your school districts for some of the kids to use?
We do. We've got all kinds of technology throughout the district, from laptop computers to desktop computers. But we also have a substantial number of iPad and personal mobile devices. And those have been, influencing the buildings and coming into the buildings in small numbers throughout the years. But right now we have been working to implement a plan, and we're calling it Ignite 2020, with a goal that we would be one-to-one with mobile devices for our students. 2020 is in the Ignite 2020 plan, but really by 2018 we're hoping that we can have a mobile device in every student's hands when they're in the classroom. But a big part of that, before we get to that, is we need to make sure that our infrastructure throughout the district is up to speed. And so we've really worked hard last year on upgrading all of our bandwidth and our wireless access issues. And then the next step for us is to make sure that our teachers are trained and our teachers have the knowledge base of how they can use the tools to enhance what's happening in the classroom. We can't replace the teacher. And technology is never intended to replace the teacher, but we need to give the teacher the knowledge base to make sure that they understand what kids are expecting in this 21st century.
Absolutely. It's a completely different world. I remember lugging my big backpack full of textbooks and, trying to, first of all, they're expensive, I presume. Tamara, there is a rumor going around that Legacy High School does not have any textbooks. Is that true?
Well, Legacy High School has very few textbooks. When you mentioned lugging around that backpack full of textbooks, if you took a textbook home for every class you had every night, the students would be walking out the door with about $750 worth of textbooks in their backpack. They're expensive. Legacy High School kids will have Chromebooks, and those Chromebooks really are a gateway to the net. And so the content is out on the web. The textbooks are out there. Our teachers tend to use Moodle as sort of like, maybe you've heard of Blackboard or D2L or those sort of online classrooms. And so the goal is to give the students the tools they would use, but I really admire Mandan's effort to say, let's make certain our teachers are skilled up first. I just want to repeat what Jeff said, that it is the mashup of building design, the flexible way of learning, how learning takes place, and then the technology. It's the mix-up of those three, and none of those ever replace a teacher. So we want our teachers to be skilled up in knowing how to really use those. When I was working with high school students about the design of Legacy, and I was trying to ask them about how big lockers needed to be and how deep, they just laughed at me. It was embarrassing. And they just chuckled. I mean, they didn't want lockers. They want a mobile device that's going to hold their stuff. That's just simply how it's been since they've been born. So anyway, that's the rumors at Legacy, and we're excited about the opportunity to see how it works. And if it works well, then to replicate it in the other buildings.
That's fantastic. And so is there an advantage that Legacy High School students have over other high schools in Bismarck? Or what are you doing to make sure that there isn't a distinct disadvantage for those other students?
Yeah, our board has been real clear that there are resources in all the buildings. So we have those resources out there. If we have a hue and cry from the other buildings that they're ready now to move to the one-to-one, and the staff development's in place and the curriculum's been written and designed by the teachers, we'd be ready to go there. But each of our three high schools are unique. They are distinct. They don't want to be mirror images of one another. That being said, when the equity issues arise, then it's our continuous work to keep improving buildings and teaching strategies and technology resources.
Yeah, absolutely. So with this growth that you've mentioned, continuing despite maybe the price of oil going down and seeing a little bit less activity in our community, what are you seeing for the teacher shortages? I remember there was a news story out a couple weeks ago saying there were over 200 positions open. Was that statewide? Was that just locally?
It's a statewide issue. I think Bismarck and Mandan are fortunate because we still have something about the quality of life right here is good, and we have a draw for teachers. More rural places have an excellent quality of life, but it's a quality of life that works for rural people. And so it doesn't work for everybody. And so I think they feel this teacher shortage more because a young person coming out of college sometimes might be the only young person in that age bracket in the teaching family, and our work is all relationship-based work. So there's some advantage to us here, but we certainly have felt the pinch of teachers. And then what happens is, teachers will move within a system, and that creates a late shortage for somebody else. We've experienced that where teachers have left us way too late in the game to replace. At the same time, teachers have come to us and they've left somewhere else. So we work through those issues as respectfully as we can, but there's a shortage. And so then we have to decide what to do about it. And the bottom line is this. We either we would prefer licensed teachers who've gone through the pedagogy without a question. But if we can't get them, we need people in to help keep class sizes down. Otherwise, the teachers we do have are going to just see rising class sizes, and that will burn a teacher out quite quickly as well. So there has to be a short-term fix here until we get a long-term answer.
So in Bismarck Mandan, are there still many positions unfilled?
In the Mandan district right now, we're pretty much ready to go for this school year with all our positions filled.
That's impressive.
However, we've had to do. Tamara touched on the point of most positions in Bismarck Mandan are probably easier to fill than rural areas, but some of our non-core areas have been very difficult to fill, and we've had to get a little creative, help some folks get alternative access licenses or some provisional certifications.
What subject matters are you talking about?
Mainly what we dealt with this year was in the career and technical education area. Our family and consumer science, we had 2 openings, and we felt very fortunate that we were able to find 2 folks who were willing to they did not have existing degrees at this point, but they were able to get a provisional certification and approval. One of those folks will end up graduating with a master's degree in family consumer science, but had
Wow.
not yet finished a program, and we were able to work out to be able to get her in the classroom. And the other one was able to take on a provisional certification. And we also had a tech ed, another CTE area, where we had a math teacher who was able to access and get qualified through the Praxis, which is a
Oh, nice.
test option for students. So it's not always easy to find some of those more content non-core areas.
Well, and Mandan has been really spreading out. I mean, north of the refinery, south, you name it. What kind of challenges does that bring to a school system?
Well, with the opening of Red Trail Elementary, I think we've got our community covered from a facility standpoint in the elementary school. So we're feeling pretty good with our capacity right now with our elementary buildings. Our middle school is feeling the crunch of growth. We've seen larger elementary size, and those are starting to move their way into the middle school. And we are currently over capacity at the Mandan Middle School. Our capacity is 800 students, and last year we had about 814 students, and we're projecting more this year. So we're seeing the crunch of growth, obviously.
Yeah, and there are some other hot topics that we want to discuss after the break. We're hoping that you both can stick with us for another segment. We will be back talking with Tamara Uzelman, Bismarck Public Schools, and Jeffrey Lynn, Mandan Public Schools. Hear more about some of the issues that they're addressing for this upcoming school year, and also some exciting grant opportunities that they have. Thank you. We'll come back in just a couple minutes. Welcome back. You're listening to United Way's Community Talk. I'm the Executive Director at United Way, Jenna Gullo, and we are having some exciting things coming up at our United Way. We're kicking off our campaign. We set a goal of $2.6 million for our community, and Barb Ozen from Ide Bailey is leading our campaign this year. So if you want to get more involved, if you want to be a division leader captain on our campaign cabinet, it's a great networking opportunity, a great way to get in front of new business prospects for yourself. But most importantly, it's a way for you to get more people involved in the mission of United Way. We're here to solve problems. We're here to address issues in the most efficient and effective way. And we need everybody coming together. We were so excited to have our Day of Caring, where our goal was to recruit 1,000 volunteers. So we kicked off our campaign 2 weeks ago. And we need you in your business to have an employee campaign if you don't have one already. It's really easy. Call our office. Talk to Kathy Walmsley. She's our campaign coordinator. Our office number is 255-3601. It's a great way to get people involved. They can do payroll deduction. If they give $1 a paycheck, $10 a paycheck, it really goes to help people in need. In case you're wondering, our last audit, we had about 3% of our expenses go towards admin and about 5% go to fundraising. So you know that your dollars are used wisely when you give through United Way. So there's my plug. That's our little commercial for United Way. Now we'll get back to the topics we've been discussing. Back to school time. We have Tamara Uzelman from Bismarck Public Schools, the superintendent, and we have Assistant Superintendent Jeff Lynn. Thanks for joining us and for being here today.
Thanks for having us. It's always good to come.
We were talking earlier about the teacher shortages, but you also are in need of substitute teachers.
Not only substitute teachers, which is certainly a shortage and something we can need, but also a lot of our support staff positions, cooks, custodians, bus drivers, paraprofessionals, those areas are certainly, we're always seeking applicants for folks that maybe are looking for part-time work, full-time work. I think we've got a lot of flexible options for people. The substitute teacher one is always difficult, and one thing that maybe people aren't aware of is that they can become a North Dakota licensed substitute teacher if they have a 4-year degree. And
in anything.
In basically,
In any subject.
It does not have to be an education degree, but if they have a 4-year bachelor's degree, they could apply for a provisional or a 2-year substitute license through the Education Standards and Practices Board.
Well, and how much fun would that be for even some of our retired folks who love to be around kids, but still like the flexibility of their schedule of not being at a permanent full-time position. And so if they have a 4-year degree, that's the minimum requirement.
They have a degree in engineering. They can have a degree in nursing. They can have a degree in a non-education field and be lucky enough to come and work with kids, because as complex as our jobs are, and Mr. Lynn's is, and I know mine is, the joy of what we get to do when you get to work with kids are just so good. And they would have a rewarding experience. So anyone out there with that 4-year degree can apply and become a substitute. They might be more comfortable coming in the support staff avenue to say, I haven't been in a school a while, so I'd like to be a custodial sub, or I'd like to be a secretarial sub. Let me try that. Let me try sub as an aide, and then maybe I'll dare be the teacher, because I know it can be frightening if you haven't been there. But I just got to say again, kids are so good, and the work is so good, and the quality of employees we have is really good. So a retired person could do it part-time. They could do it till they go to Arizona. And then they could do it when they come back. It's not a lifetime commitment like a regular job.
Yeah, and we have the Adopt a Classroom program through United Way, so we send kids into Saxvik Elementary, Myrie, Wilmore, and these volunteers, they just are there maybe once a month or once every couple of months, but we make sure we have volunteers there every other week into these schools, and they say it's the best couple hours of their month.
It absolutely is. Anybody out there who's a grandparent, I am one, and how you just crave to see your grandkids. Kind of this substituting can work that same way. You get to be around kids, and everybody's is somebody's kid. I mean, these are good kids, so it's a good time, and it's an important work and valuable work. We need people, and we'd sure love to see them apply. So, Jeff, how would they apply at Mandan? And at our place, they'd apply through the office at Hughes.
Yeah, Brave Center is our central office, and we have an online application system. And if they go to our website, they can also find a link for applying for jobs. I'd also like to maybe point out the other end too, that we really are hoping that we can encourage young people to pursue careers in education and make it is a highly rewarding, highly demanding field, but the rewards are great. Maybe not financially compared to some other professions that young people might be looking at. However, it is, in my opinion, the most important job that you can have, and I think we need to try to get our best and brightest to look into the education field and take it seriously. We seem to be looking at stopgap measures to try and address our teacher shortages when it really comes down to we need to make the teaching profession a field that young people want to pursue. I think that's our long-term solution to some of our shortages.
Well, and overall that our society values in a deeper and more meaningful way. I mean, my goodness, how long are our kids in school? And who is that primary adult that's spending so much time with them, especially having so many two-parent working families? I think it makes it challenging for parents. And so what recruitment efforts have the school districts been able to take, or have they done it in a more unique way? I know I was looking at wages with my father. He just happened to ask, because he was on the school board many moons ago back in New York. And, have wages been able to increase somewhat?
Actually, the statistics show that North Dakota has made strides in its rankings with teacher salary, so that's a good thing. In the last, say 7 to 8 years, I think we've moved from being in that 49th position. I believe we're into the 30s now, and when we compare our average teacher salaries to others, and so I think we're making strides there. Our board is highly aware of the issue of employee shortages, and they've actually set it as one of their objectives in their strategic plan is to really study the issue of retaining and attracting quality employees. And so our committees will be taking a look at that this year and trying to come up with some solutions that work for Mandan. And I think we obviously know it's not a Mandan, it's a Bismarck, it's a North Dakota, it's a nationwide issue. But we're going to have some serious discussions about what we can do to make sure that we're doing all we can do.
And I think our positions are competitive in the teaching field in both Bismarck and Mandan in terms of pay and benefits. So when Jeff mentioned that the state has moved from the 50s or the 40th up into the 30th, it varies by district as well. Mm-hmm. So young people can check out the salary and benefits package. The most rewarding part of teaching, though, I think any teacher would tell you, it's obviously you got to pay the rent, so you need a salary. But it is that chance to work with young people. And you said it best, Jenna, you are impacting society. These kids have 13 years with us. And so what we do in that 13 years is just have them enjoy their right now. Everyone talks about getting ready for the future. We have them enjoy the moment they're in as children at the same time where we want to get them ready to be in a position of choice when they graduate. Choice about the career they want. Choice about where they want to take post-secondary training, choice about where they want to live. So it's exciting, and kids teach you a lot. The learning never ends in our profession. For any of us at whatever position you're in. I ran into a young man a couple days ago who knows 5 languages, none of them English. So he's an English language learner in our system. But imagine a chance to sit down and talk with someone from another part of the world and begin to learn with him and his family and his translator what life is like. So it just is a phenomenal feedback loop for a person's soul.
Have you seen that becoming more of an issue in our community where English is the second language?
We have definitely seen a rising ELL population. I think that's so exciting. It takes us back to our roots as a country. Whether we're a melting pot or a tossed salad, people from all over the place coming together to make a state and a new nation. And so we do have multiple languages and multiple cultures, beginning, with our Native American culture, and then we have the German-Russian heritage, and I occasionally find a Finlander here and there that can join me. But we see a lot of people coming from Africa, and so we get some unique languages brought. A lot of them speak French, but then they have some very local dialects as well. So we are seeing an increase, and that's a good thing.
And so are you able to meet the needs of the students in that way? I mean, that's got to be awfully challenging.
It's extremely difficult, and I think one of the things we try to stress is that when we do have English language learners coming in is that they do create challenges, but that's what we do as educators. We take on those challenges, and when kids can't read, we want to teach them to read. When they can't speak, we teach them to speak, and that's the purpose of a public education. And so we're tasked with providing a free and appropriate public education, and that doesn't come with strings attached on whether or not you're a native English speaker or not. So I think that's something we really stress. And so yes, it does create challenges, and sometimes it's not easy, but we do have the idea that that's what we do.
What are some things you're most proud of, and what's one area you really want to address this upcoming school year?
I'm always really proud of our kids. When we do a reach out for employees, we just there aren't better people on earth than school kids. And they're good because of the people who work with them. Obviously, their parents first, but then the second teachers, our teachers and our support staff. I'm so proud of our people. And just as Mr. Lind said, how they respond to the challenges that come to the door, they see them as our work. It's not an issue. It's not a burden. It's our work. So I'm really, really proud of that. And I think probably the biggest challenge is keep working kid by kid to figure out what's getting in the way of their achievement and removing that roadblock, whether it's hunger through the backpack program, whether it's the inability to crack the reading code, how do we do that? Whether they don't know English, how do we teach that, and how do we learn about their language?
Thank you to Tamra Uzelman from Bismarck Public Schools and Jeff Lind, Mandan Public Schools, for your great work. We will be back in just a couple minutes to talk with Mary Severson from Foster Grandparents Program. Welcome back. My name is Jenna Gullo. I am the co-host today on United Way's Community Talk. And my co-host is Ms. Amber Jensen, the operations manager at United Way.
Good morning, everyone.
Special shout out and thank you to Town Square Media, Super Talk 1270, and Jim Walsh, who helps us do this fun show every other week, bringing important community issues to you. We hope that you'll get involved because let me count thy ways and how people are helping us. We only have 5 people that work at our United Way. We cover a 10-county region, and let me tell you, they all work extremely hard. We are proud to announce that former Girl Scouts exec Kathy Walmsley has joined our team at United Way. She is the campaign coordinator, and Mary Severson over here is looking like, what? Kathy went to United Way. Yeah, we love Kathy Walmsley, and so we're really excited. We are looking for one position, the marketing and donor relations position. It's a new position. What we did is we changed things around. We had one volunteer taking some of our normal duties, and then we added some duties to another position. So marketing and donor relations, it's going to be the person who's out there meeting with donors, who's giving presentations, who's helping to develop our marketing and fundraising strategies, who's really getting the word out on what our volunteers are doing to make United Way as efficient and effective as possible to help solve problems. So if you know someone out there, a dynamite personality, a real go-getter, that's what we're needing at United Way. And then Amber, you're also looking for some help in the admin department.
Yeah, we're really looking for someone that has a finance background. And so we're looking for an administrative coordinator with that special component of having that finance piece that they can add to the team. It would be a full-time position and really be able to help us with data entry, reconciling at the end of every month, doing our bank statements, and helping us make sure our campaign is running efficiently.
And I believe we have a call. Okay, no call-ins right now. But I thought maybe someone was so excited about the positions we have open. If you want to, though, call our office. It's 255-3601 or go online to msaunitedway.org. You can apply on there. We have a volunteer HR professional who will get in touch with you and do the screening. But send your resume to us. We're looking for really, really qualified folks who want to make a difference in the community, want to make sure every hour they're at work is a meaningful hour. So talking about people getting involved in so many different ways. You know, we have the United Way Backpack Program. That's where businesses and individuals, they sponsor backpacks full of food, and we then deliver them to, I want to say, 23 different elementary schools in Bismarck and Mandan. So we're looking for sponsors and volunteers to help pack them up. But we're also looking for people in the schools to be mentors, readers, tutors, just a friendly, comforting face. And so we're talking with Mary Severson from Serve Yes today. Talk to us, Mary. What is Serve Yes? Because that's a new name for our community.
It is. It's a rebrand. RSVP Plus decided much consideration went into it, but it's going to be the umbrella over which many of our programs. So there's still going to be RSVP. There's still going to be foster grandparent, bone builders, and all those programmings that we have.
And so foster grandparents, what is it and how can people get involved?
Well, foster grandparents just happens to be one of my most passionate programs that I work with on a day-to-day basis. And the foster grandparent program was meant to help children who are struggling with reading in usually K through third grade. So they're struggling with reading. They need to have somebody listening to them read, correcting those mispronunciations that they might make. When they're in kindergarten, just recognizing those letter sounds. And then it's also able to give some of those folks who are 55 and older, there is an age requirement, to give them a little coin in their pocket so they're paid a stipend to work with these children 15 hours a week.
Wow. So if you're 15 or 55 years of age or older, you may qualify to not only volunteer, but also to receive a stipend?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is an income guideline, but the beauty of it is if you don't meet that income guideline, that's where I can put on my RSVP hat and we can still get you into the classrooms to go ahead and listen to those children read, help them with some math skills, and just be a friendly face to them. And all of the hours are served at a school during the school day.
And so when the school's approaching, Bismarck starts on Thursday and Mandan starts tomorrow. How are your numbers looking so far for the program?
Well, we always, because of the age population that we deal with, we usually have a few that retire at the end of the year, and so we did lose a few, but I think I have enough new recruits so that we're about even Steven with the numbers that we ended up with last spring. So we're at about 25, 26 foster grandparents in the Bismarck Mandan schools.
Wow, that's excellent.
Oh, yeah, but I could use a whole lot more.
So what is your goal? What is your goal number that you would have?
You know, I would love to have at least 40.
Wow.
Well, let's do that. Let's
That would
get
be
everyone
awesome.
on the horn calling you at
258-5436. And if you yourself are not maybe able to volunteer 15 hours a week, you might know someone who is. So let us know that person.
Yeah, so what is the hour requirement to volunteer?
For the foster grandparent program, they do need to serve a minimum of 15 hours per week.
Okay. And so then do they get, I remember once you saying that they even get reimbursed for mileage.
They do. They get thank you for reminding me of that. They get mileage reimbursement. However, if they don't drive, we provide transit to them. So that is free. So they are going to get to and from free. It's not going to cost them anything out of the pocket. Of course, they are insured. The schools, if they serve over a lunch hour, the schools in-kind us a lunch also. And that's where they get to sit in the lunchroom and just be that grandma or grandpa figure and get to sit with the kids. They usually have a struggle of who gets to sit by grandma or grandpa today. So that's a really fun.
I know, and they're so loved. Oh, so loved. So the minimum requirement is 15 hours a week. Is that what you said?
Correct.
And so what's a typical schedule? Do they go every day? Do they go twice a week?
It is so flexible. We meet with the schools and we figure out what the classroom teacher's need is. And if the foster grandparent says, yeah, I don't really want to be there until 9. Okay, the schools are very, very flexible. Once that schedule is set, however, then we really try to adhere to it through the whole year. But the majority of them probably come in at 9 and leave by 2. Most of them take either a Monday or a Friday off. They want to just still have a day to themselves. So they can get that 15 hours in 4 days if they want to get it in 5 days. And, of course, they can serve up to 40. So 15 is the minimum, and they can serve up to 40. And we have a couple that are working 30 or more hours.
And so once you decide on that schedule, or once somebody signs up, do they get to pick what school they're able to go to? So if their grandchild is at Jeanette Myrie, can that be an option for them to go to that school?
It can be if they, or whichever one they happen to be at their neighborhood school, or if they would like to. So if they give me their preference, I try to make that happen. And I usually don't have a problem contacting the principal and say, hey, I have a foster grandparent, and they're usually, I don't even have the sentence out of my mouth, and they're usually like, yes, bring it on. Otherwise, we do, try to work within the United Way guidelines and work with those particular schools and place them there if they don't have a preference.
We are talking with Mary Severson from the Foster Grandparents Program. You can get in touch with Mary at 258-5436. Mary, what types of improvements do you see in children who are working with a foster grandparent?
Well, we had a record number of children served this year, and I was going to look it up, and I forgot. But it was over 500 children that our 25, 26 foster grandparents helped this year, and all but 7 passed to the next grade level. And I think that's an amazing statistic.
Wow.
It is.
Wow, that is unbelievable. And so are foster grandparents placed to provide more one-on-one support for kids who are struggling with reading?
Yes, they'll either work with them on one-on-one or maybe a real small group. And the teachers, the classroom teacher identifies those students that need that extra help. And then, of course, we follow them through the school year. And then at the end of the school year, there's another survey to let us know if they've improved or not. And that's how we get those numbers.
What are those teachers saying?
That they are loved. One said, I want 10 more like her. So I haven't quite got 10 more to give him. And they just tell us that they are such a help. And there are some of those aha moments that those children finally get whatever they happen to be struggling with.
What a wonderful opportunity.
It's a great program.
If you are listening out there and you want to become a foster grandparent, you can contact Mary at Serve Yes, which also runs the RSVP program, the Retired Senior Volunteer Program. Mary can be reached at 258-5436 or go on to our website at msaunited.org. unitedway.org. Amber, you've been posting a lot of great things on Facebook. How do people get in touch with us?
Yes, go to facebook.com/MSAU Way. And also just a one note, if you start hearing about the Little Black Dress, that will start September 28th.
What is the Little Black Dress, Amber?
We will all be wearing one black dress for 1 week to illustrate the effects that some people might only have one dress to wear to work or do a job interview. So watch for those ladies out in the community.
Yes, so get involved. If you know of someone who wants to be a part of our Little Black Dress initiative to raise awareness and poverty issues in our community, go online to msaunitedway.org, and you agree to raise $500. Last year, we raised close to $60,000 for our education initiative and people struggling with poverty in our area. If you do not have an employee campaign at your place of employment, call us. They're fun. They're great for morale. Give people an opportunity to give back because a lot of people don't know who or how to give. So call us at United Way. We thank you for tuning in, and go on to volunteerbizman.com to get more involved today.